Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavna. In this lecture, we are going to continue with the topic called as environmental issues. So already in the last class, we have seen so many topics regarding environmental issues. First of all, environmental issues means what? We have studied in the main chapter which is called as ecology. So in ecology, first we have dealt about the ecology, organisms and its population, then biodiversity. Now we are going to deal about the environmental issues. Already biodiversity and its conservation, everything we have seen. And in environmental issues also we have started with water management, how is water useful, and all this we have seen in the last class. So how do you water act when it was given? First important point that you should remember is Water Act was given an important NEET question. It was given in 1974. Then the Environmental Act, it was given in 1986. So there are other numerous acts also which we will see in environmental issues. Acts means what? That the government has passed some issues that the see you should follow these separate guidelines here. Then only or else you will face numerous problems. So that was the act which was proposed, and everyone should abide by the rules which was given by the government. So basically, when we have started with that, we have seen today we are starting with the another type of waste management that is called as solid waste. We have dealt in a water management. Then there are other managements also like air management as well as soil management and all. Today we are dealing with solid waste management. So solid waste. So first and foremost thing, what are solid waste? The waste from our homes, colleges, hospitals, wherever you see, whatever the waste which are present, everything will come under the domestic waste from our homes also. Everything is the domestic solid waste which is classified under. So all these waste products basically what are the main waste products which we see, which we come from homes and all? What are the waste products which we see? They are nothing but some paper, cloth, materials, all the plastics, everything are considered under the solid waste. So basically, here this full waste where it is dumped, you all will see from your homes, numerous waste is collected and it is dumped into some areas. So suppose if you are in Hyderabad city or some metropolitan city like Mumbai and all. So basically what will happen? There all the wastes are dumped into some open areas. But when these wastes are dumped into open areas, numerous amounts of mosquitoes and flies we will see. Suppose in rainy season especially, why we all are susceptible to numerous diseases like dengue, malaria and all. Why we are susceptible? Because of the breed, we are creating a breed for the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are growing and growing, but where they are growing? All the waste or the stagnant water wherever we see, all the waste where they are dumped in numerous quantities. So there only it is a breeding place for mosquitoes, and again they will cause harm to humans only. So by this thing, I want you all to say that there should be a proper disposal of waste products. So how this proper disposal of waste products will take place? So how this all will happen is basically proper disposal of waste. Suppose for example solid waste, how they are disposed? First they should be burnt and then disposed. Burnt, they should be like fire should be put for them, everything should be burnt and they should be disposed. Suppose the major disposal of solid waste, it takes place by sanitary landfills. Sanitary landfills. So basically in the sanitary landfills, what will happen? All the burnt waste are dumped into areas, but not on the ground. In sanitary landfills means below the ground. This is the surface, normal land surface. We will dig numerous, will go deep, some 2 meters or some we will go deep into this. So they are called as sanitary landfills. all the burnt wastes are disposed here. But there is a problem with these sanitary landfills. The main problem which is associated with sanitary landfills is there exactly inside the ground. What will flow usually? Suppose wells and all. Wells means where we store the water. All you see numerous wells in rural areas. So, or the groundwater which is flowing, everything it is harmful. These sanitary landfills, when they are present inside the ground, all the chemicals, all the burnt waste, they are going into pure fresh water, groundwater, they are contaminating the groundwater. So again, there is water management is not taking place, and we are susceptible to numerous other diseases when chemicals are reaching the water, because so many people in rural areas, in Maharashtra and all, in rural areas, they'll take out the water from the wells and all. So basically, when they take out the water, they are filled with all impurities. From where these impurities are going? From these sanitary landfills only. Because we are digging deep into the ground where groundwater is flowing, and all the waste we are dumping into the sanitary landfills. All the burnt waste. So there is a problem. Perlocation of water. Perlocation means what? The water is moving deep into this. Perlocation of water is taking place. Important NEET question which is asked. What is the disadvantage that is associated with sanitary landfills? The main disadvantage which is associated with sanitary landfills is perlocation of water inside the ground is taking place. So when perlocation or impurities are present in the water, again this is the major disadvantage, or else full we will dump into the sanitary landfills only. But in majority of the cities, the sanitary landfills are also getting totally filled. Why these are getting filled? Because from each and every home, every day so much of waste, domestic sewage or the waste products are coming. For every house, there is no separatory sanitary landfill. There are big sanitary landfills which are associated with outskirts of the city, but these are also getting filled nowadays. But what we say is most of the waste, more and more sanitary landfills should be created, and most of the burnt waste should be disposed. But again, in these sanitary landfills also, again there are of three types. They are nothing but biodegradable. Basically, the waste is usually classified into three types: biodegradable, non biodegradable, and then recyclable. So basically, there are of three types, that is biodegradable, non biodegradable, and recyclable waste. Waste is usually classified. Now I'm saying it under sanitary landfills. So when these three different types of waste, recyclable waste we will see. Recyclable, by the name only you can understand. The waste which is usually recycled. The waste which, see, suppose the cloth, materials and all, we can recycle them properly. Then and there you can recycle them. So they are classified under recyclable waste. Non-biodegradable waste. What are non-biodegradable? They cannot be degraded. So these should be dumped in the sanitary landfills. They should be burnt. These recyclable, they no need to be burnt. They should be simply recycled by a special process which we are using. Recyclable process. They should be recycled and they should be used for other purposes. These are recyclable is done. But non-biodegradable means they cannot be degraded. Then only we say non-biodegradable. They should not be degraded into pieces, because if we degrade them also, they will not be very useful. And these they should be burnt and they should be transferred into the sanitary landfills. Next is biodegradable, means these can be degraded. These can be degraded into small pieces. These biodegradable, they should be allowed for natural degradation process. Recyclable means artificially we are inducing, we are trying to recycle them artificially. Here biodegradable means they should be allowed for natural degradation process. So that is biodegradable. Non-biodegradable means it should not be degraded only into small pieces. So that is non-biodegradable. Again, see, these are of three types: recyclable, non-biodegradable, biodegradable. So this classification is very important in the point of view. So till now what we have done, no need to get so much confused regarding this. Simply we have started with waste management in environmental issues of ecology. So when we have started there, first we have dealt about the solid waste. What are solid waste? Waste from homes, schools, hospitals, colleges, whatever the waste which is said to be is called as solid waste. So in this solid waste, again they are of types. Like, see, this is basically sanitary landfills where they should be dumped. So in these sanitary landfills, basically they are underground. In the ground, they are dumped. All the waste is going and getting dumped into these sanitary landfills. And these sanitary landfills, what is the uses? Again, here the wastes are separated into three types. They are nothing but recyclable, non-biodegradable, biodegradable. The recyclable means they are then and there recycled and they are useful for other purposes. Non-biodegradable means they are not degraded. They should be sent into sanitary landfills. They should be burnt. Next, biodegradable means again they are allowed for the natural process of degradation. And here when you come to perlocation process, the disadvantage, normally we can go and dump all the waste into the ground, but what is the disadvantage which is associated? There should be perlocation of water which is taking place. There is the water is going and flowing into the sanitary landfills. When this water is entering, all the waste products, when they are entering into the groundwater, the water is also getting contaminated. So this is the main disadvantage which is associated with that of sanitary landfills. Then there are other types of waste also which are called as e-waste process. What are e-waste? Simply you can understand by the term E. E means what? Electronic waste which we see. Electronic waste means all the irreparable computers or laptops, how all these are degraded. These are also burnt and they are put into the sanitary landfills. But these are not considered under the main domestic sewage. This is considered under the e-waste, which is called as electronic waste. Only the, especially all the electronic gadgets which you see, all they are considered under electronic waste. Important NEET question: how are e-waste disposed? Important NEET question: how are e-waste disposed? So e-waste, so the electronic waste are basically disposed by these sanitary landfills. Only they are disposed. So this is the main thing that you should remember about the e-waste. See, majority of the cities, from where we get all this e-waste and all. Suppose computers all are manufactured from developed countries only for us. But these developed countries have special mechanisms for the disposal of e-waste. They have special mechanism. All the e-wastes are getting in, they have special devices for the disposal of e-waste. But we developing countries like India, China, where population is more and disposal of the waste is very less, what we for us what is happening is there is no proper disposal of e-waste which is taking place. So how this all is happening? So this all is taking place. That's why in our India or China, these e-wastes are also disposed into the sanitary landfills. So important NEET question which is asked: how are e-waste disposed? E-waste or the electronic waste or the electronic gadgets which are present, these all are basically disposed into the sanitary landfills. So under solid waste which we see, everything is disposed under the into the sanitary landfills only. All the hospital waste also. How is hospital waste disposed? Through sanitary landfills. How is electronic waste disposed? Sanitary landfills. How is the domestic sewage or industrial effluents which are coming from numerous industries? How these are disposed? Everything is sanitary landfills. But only the disadvantage is the per location of the waste takes place into the water. So this is the main disadvantage, and we have seen what are the three different types of waste, how they are classified, and how you should remember each point about them. So this is about the solid waste management, how this all is taking place. Next, we are going to enter into an interesting topic that is called as greenhouse effect. So basically, we have heard from small, from 6th class, 7th classes in CBSE or state board, anywhere about the greenhouse effect only. So here also we are going to see, and numerous NEET questions will be asked also based on this. So when we are starting with greenhouse effect. First, what is greenhouse effect? So many people are getting confused regarding the greenhouse effect. Suppose the incident solar radiation which is coming, the earth should get some sunlight, right? So the heating of the earth's surface is called as greenhouse effect. The heating of the earth's surface from the sun directly, the earth will receive the all UV radiations, ultraviolet radiations and all. So there is a layer which is protecting between the earth as well as the sun, that is called as ozone layer. In the next topic we will see about the ozone layer. Now we will see what is the greenhouse effect. So heating of the earth's surface through the solar radiation is called as greenhouse effect. Heating of the earth's surface through the solar radiation is called as greenhouse effect. So basically there are numerous greenhouse gases also which are present. Important NEET question, what are the four greenhouse gases which are associated? So it is nothing but carbon dioxide, methane, then chlorofluorocarbons and N2O, nitrous oxide. What are the four greenhouse gases? Important NEET question. Carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, N2O. So when the sunlight is falling on the earth's surface, is earth absorbing every amount of the sunlight? No. Some half of the 1/4 is usually reflected. See, suppose I'll try to explain you in a diagram. But first remember what are the four greenhouse gases and how they are produced. First, this is carbon dioxide. How is carbon dioxide produced? Suppose if full deforestation is taking place by humans, we only are promoting these greenhouse gases are very minimal present in the atmosphere. But we humans, we are creating so much amount of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Suppose carbon dioxide, how it is released into the atmosphere? So much of deforestation if it is taking place, oxygen is not released by the plants, and massive burning of the fossil fuels. All the fossil fuels if you burn, but that is not our mistake also to release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, because suppose for creating all the petrol and all we should burn the fossil fuels. For creating houses and all we should do deforestation, but everything should take place in minimal quantities. If anything is exceeding beyond it, it is causing the greenhouse effect. So the greenhouse gases already they are present in the atmosphere, but in minimal quantities. But we are encouraging them, we are making them more. So how is carbon dioxide is by massive burning of fossil fuels, burning of fossil fuels, as well as deforestation. By these two processes, carbon dioxide is produced into the atmosphere. Next, methane, the gas methane. How this is produced? See, bioactive plants, we see biogas plants, all the industries, these all produce methane. So, biogas, as well as some weeds, invasive weeds also these produce biogas. Next, chlorofluorocarbons, how they are released into the earth's atmosphere. Chlorofluorocarbons, how they are released. Suppose the ACs which you use during the summer, or some refrigerators, everything, these all will release special substances which are called as chlorofluorocarbons. So they damage the ozone layer, as well as they cause the greenhouse effect also. So they are very dangerous. But can we survive without the air conditioners and all? But these are very harmful to the, so many and many, so much it is contributing to the ozone depletion also, these chlorofluorocarbons. So from where they are released? They are released from air conditioners, refrigerators, and some electronic gadgets. Air conditioners, refrigerators, and all. Next, nitrous oxide. This is also a major substance which is released by the process of deforestation only, or by numerous industries also. This nitrous oxide is released. Industries. So these all are contributing for that of greenhouse effect. First in NEET they will ask you questions. What are the four greenhouse gases which are associated? Carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, N2O. Next they'll ask you randomly. Biogas releases the main substance which is responsible for that of greenhouse effect. What is that? It is nothing but methane. You should get remember like that. Carbon dioxide, burning of fossil fuels and deforestation. Then chlorofluorocarbons, it is nothing but ACs as well as refrigerators. Then N2O, nitrous oxide, is released usually by that of industries. So for everything, it is all released into small, everything these will cause the greenhouse effect. So basically when you are associated with this greenhouse effect, I want you to all understand that heating of the earth's surface through solar radiation is greenhouse effect. But greenhouse also is very important, or else without the greenhouse effect we all can't survive. Suppose the average temperature of the earth's surface is, suppose 15 to 20 degrees, the average temperature. Without this greenhouse effect, if sun is not entering into the earth's surface, or else the incident solar radiations are not falling on the earth's surface, then what will happen basically? So our temperature on the earth's surface will go to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Instead of normal 20 degrees Celsius, it will go to minus 20 degrees Celsius. So we all can survive with minus 20 degrees Celsius daily? No, without the earth of the sun falling on us, no, we can't survive, and we will susceptible to numerous vitamin D deficiencies also. That's why vitamin D deficiency is caused, because nowadays we are not spending so much of time, we are spending most of the time sitting in the ACs and all. We are not spending time going outside and walking, so we all are susceptible to vitamin D deficiencies. So we are taking numerous tablets related to calciferols and all for vitamin D deficiency. Instead of that, if you go and walk in the sunlight, it will be very useful for you. So without this greenhouse effect also, there will be numerous problems which are associated. So I am going to compare the normal greenhouse effect as well as the greenhouse effect which humans are causing. So here the important point that you should understand is, suppose this is the solar radiation which is falling on the earth's surface. This is the earth's surface. Between the sun as well as the earth's surface, there is a layer which is present. In this layer only all the greenhouse gases will be present. What are the greenhouse gases? I told you just now, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide and chlorofluorocarbons between the sunlight as well as earth's surface. So first I want you to say the solar radiation which will reach the earth's surface, everything is not absorbed by the earth's surface. Only some amount is absorbed by the earth's surface. Only half of the solar radiation. Important neat question. How much of the solar radiation is absorbed by the earth's surface? Only half of the solar radiation is absorbed by the earth's surface. The rest of that is reflected back. Rest of that is reflected back. So where it is going? So when this solar radiation, when it is touching the earth's surface, some of it is absorbed and it is taken by numerous plants, animals or humans from the sun. But rest of that is reflected back. About 1/4 is reflected back. When this is reflected back, this is usually taken by this four greenhouse gases which are present. So they absorb the radiation. Earth emits a radiation which is called as infrared radiation. So they absorb the infrared radiations. They absorb the infrared radiations which are taking place, and these four gases will absorb the infrared radiations. So what they will do? Again they will send some amount of the solar radiation back to the earth's surface. And rest of that is going into the outer space. Rest of that is going into the outer space. Some is absorbed and again sent back to the earth. Most of that is going back into the space. Most of that is going back, only some amount is coming back to the earth's surface. This is the normal greenhouse effect which should ideally takes place. But due to humans, deforestation, biogases, or else ACs which we are using, refrigerators which we are using, what is happening? Same theory should follow there. Again sunlight, earth's surface, again in the middle there are greenhouse gases which are present. All the four greenhouse gases. This is the normal ideal thing which should happen. Now what is happening? You observe. Sunlight is reaching the earth's surface. Maximum amount of sunlight is reaching the earth's surface. Good. Only some amount is absorbed by the earth's surface. Rest is reflected back. When this is reflected back, which is taking the solar radiation is again these gases are taking. But if so much amount of gases are present in the atmosphere, why so much amount of gases are present in the atmosphere? Because of us deforestation. If we do so much of deforestation, so much of carbon dioxide will be there in the Earth's atmosphere. If we use the refrigerators and if we are releasing more of chlorofluorocarbons, more of fluorocarbons will be there. So they only absorb most amount of sunlight. They will not allow the radiation to go back into the space. Only some amount they will allow to go into the space. Again, they are reflecting back into the Earth's atmosphere. See, again, they are reflecting so much into the atmosphere. Only some is going into the space. So I'm comparing the two situations. This is the ideal situation which should take place, but this is the reality which is taking place for that of greenhouse effect. So what is happening? The gases should, the solar radiations, it should move out. They should all move out into the space. But maximum is coming back to the Earth's surface. When maximum is coming back to the Earth's surface, there is global warming which is taking place. Due to global warming only, so much of ozone is depleted from the Earth's surface when global warming is takes place. So this is about the greenhouse effect. So in today's class, we have dealt about the greenhouse effect as well as solid waste. In the next class, we are going to continue about the global warming, ozone depletions, deforestation, reforestation and all. In the next class, we are going to see.